murderer. Ted Bundy, just disgusting narcissist that was able to use his charm and
But a
knew
genius.
people.
Remember in the courtroom, the judge was like, if you weren't on trial for like multiple homicides, I'd offer you a job. It's like he defended himself, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
he's
almost got
charismatic.
himself off.
But that's the dangerous thing. That's the problem with psychopaths and narcissists. They can pretend, they can fake things really well, so they come across really well. But
That's what they're trying to figure out, what the trigger is, isn't it? Because quite a lot of high-powered CEOs, they have the same brain patterns.
Oh yeah.
And like the same enlargements in the brain as psychopaths, but they're not all killing people. They're not all serial killers. They're like trying to figure out what the trigger is that makes some people go on that path. But you have to have a level of not caring about anyone to be a big CEO anyway, because you've sodded with lots of people's lives.
Well, yeah, because they fire so many people, don't they? Like, yep, cut these, tell those people they lost their jobs. You're like, how can you be so cold? Because I'm a psychopath.
You have to have no empathy, I think. Or
yes,
no, like,
right, because that is genuinely the definition of a psychopath, and people in high-powered jobs have to be psychopaths to
or sociopaths.
They can still hold down a normal job and a normal lifestyle, families, and be nice and not hurt anyone.
have no emotion attached.
But a psychopath in different sections. But it is a semi-mental illness at the same time as well. So it's weird.
Rage Whale. Welcome to another spoiler review episode.
Today's episode is a spoiler review of Ryan Murphy's Monsters, Ed Gein Story. Today we have special guest Sara Crean, also known as Shed. She is joining us to discuss this in detail, do a deep dive into what's real, what's fake, best parts, worst parts, and everything in between. We hope you enjoy this spoiler review of Monsters. Today we're going to be talking about Monsters, the Ed Gein story, and we have Sara Crean with us today, currently known as Shed. We're still Shed. We're still shedding it. So we've all watched it. You finished it completely, haven't you?
Yeah, I watched it at the weekend with little Seb, Lauren Liebling.
Hi, Seb. Me and Sadie watched it in one day. We started at 2 p.m. We took the dog to the beach, and then we came back and thought we'll put on one episode and watch a couple. Stayed there until like 11 o'clock at night. Constant. It was amazing. James is a bit annoyed because 80% of it's false, apparently, but there is a lot of falsehoods.
But large margin of it.
Well,
yeah, the last stuff, yeah.
We'll get into that because the false things are not false. They are perceptions of his identity, and it's part of the story.
Was that written down, though? Because that's what I was fascinated, because there's a bit where he's speaking to a shrink, and I wondered if that's how they've gained this information for said TV series.
Well, no, it's a lot of it is perceived, and that's kind of the point. Like if you watch the previous ones, like the Dharma one and Lyle Menendez, there is no answers because we don't know things. So they're making things up, but we do know that he had quite acute schizophrenia. So that's why, especially in episode 8, it plays on that. None of that happens, obviously.
No,
so when you notice that, you do your research. It's one of those programs that when you watch, you want to research. You don't just take it as...
I think it's because low-key I wish he had done that stuff, and it would have made it so much cooler.
I mean...
It's a bit twisted saying that, but...
I don't know. I think it ruined it a little bit. Like, if you know much about, like, you know, forensic psychology and stuff, him then having sex with people and corpses completely changes the actual thing he was doing.
Well, that's one of the things he never did, but we'll get into that. But
well, there's lots of things that people don't know the truth of.
Yeah.
So it's perceived that he probably did, but there's no evidence that he did. And he passed all the lie detector tests, but he passed them for the stuff he did as well. So that doesn't... He's just got a slow heart rate that can't be detected.
Well, no, also, if you're schizophrenic, if you are in a different personality, that would you?
It's technically not, but it's technically not you doing it, right? So it's the other
version. The other person did it, so you can get away with it.
Then you're not lying because you.
Yeah.
you're detached.
Obviously, not all schizophrenia is split personality schizophrenia, just
True.
to say, aware of that. But for this instance, it would seem that is what he's sort of suggesting.
Correct. Well, I think before going into like we'll go through each episode in little stages and just see what everyone thought of it. But I think first of all it's worth addressing like what does everyone think of irrelevant of true or false Charlie Hunnam's acting.
Incredible performance.
The voice was a little weird.
It is fairly accurate.
Well, he did go Irish for one bit, which I think maybe was a slip. But
I noticed that as well. Yeah,
went full Irish. But let's be honest, Charlie Hunnam has a history of horrendous accents in films. Maybe just stop letting him do him. But his acting, I will say, especially in the second to last episode, is phenomenal. When he realizes he's been talking to himself.
Yeah, that's
and
quite.
that whole situation with the doctor and the 3 ham radios, and they're like, well, it was never connected. And it's like, because you kind of knew he wasn't talking to them people because he didn't have their addresses and that. But when his realization, that is some top tier acting right there. It made me feel bad, like just because how good his acting was.
What did you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I think it was quite sad, like that bit. Oh, what is acting in general?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
I think he was good. I think the woman he was paired with was just a little bit like if he was being portrayed as quite a simple character, and then she appeared really a lot younger than him and quite with it. Whereas if she's also small town as well, I think that threw things off a bit. It was almost like for me it did. It was I think she should have been portrayed a little bit differently.
She was a bit messed up as well.
She was hanging out with a 19-year-old that was like quite clever and had all these dreams, whereas in reality, wasn't she just like kind of a bit small town weirdo as well?
But don't weirdos attract, like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So she felt like an outcast with her own friends, and they shared like photos and they had weird kind of passions collectively.
I thought she was quite good, but it was an odd one. But again, like we find out that she might not be. Well, she was real, but the majority of their interactions might not have been. Like, again, we'll get into that in a minute. But I've got a few specific examples to see if anyone spotted. I think you probably would have, to be honest, because I
looked it up afterwards. I was like trying to find out what she was doing now. Like,
I think it was the second time she turned the mother's chair around. I was like, okay, well now we're in an act of fiction, aren't we?
Well, that's it. I mean, again, we don't know anything about her journey to New York and stuff like that either. But what's people's thoughts of Ryan Murphy? Because he's the one that's getting the biggest heat. So he's the director and writer of this, and obviously people are going. I found it really strange. Speaking to you guys now, I get it to a degree, but I love this show. I thought it was phenomenal. I no notes. Perfect as far as I was concerned from every aspect.
I thought it got a bit ridiculous. That end one didn't even need to me. It didn't even need to happen.
Felt a bit like
guaranteed it was strange, but it was appropriate. I thought it was appropriate for him losing his mind progressively. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, I loved it up until the last episode. The ending for me felt a little bit Monty Python, kind of the meaning of Brian or whatever. Christmas in heaven. It's Christmas in heaven. Like it just felt a bit. I just felt like I think that's why I preferred the Dharma one, if I'm honest, because it felt, even though it felt more grounded in reality, and I know that they're obviously playing off his mindset and where his mind's at, but it just felt like it just fell off the cliff and not in the best way. But it had a kind of happy ending in some messed up way as well, with the connection to his mum, which was nice because that was really bleak.
I think all three of these series have got they've got the same feel because it's the same director and you can tell it's the same author to a degree. But the first one was like, I think it was like late 60s, early 70s New York, and it was very grimy and gritty, and it kept to that. The second one was like 80s in Miami or Beverly Hills or something, so it was very 80s and silly. And then this one, it was the 1930s and 1940s, you know, it was depraved, and it was desperate, and it was a very different vibe entirely. So I think
I'm surprised more people weren't doing it. When you're like, actually, it does show. Oh, these were the things he was looking at school, like Shrunken Heads cards. Well, I had pogs. I had a pog. I was a bloody Shrunken Head, and then mad.
It felt very atmospheric. Like, I thought it was incredibly well directed, and I loved the kind of bold kind of interconnecting of movies and how you saw writers taking on some of the concepts based on what they'd heard through the town, or if it was just rumors about Ed Gein. And I thought it was really clever how they incorporated the jumps into the movies, and then you're on the movie set, and then it would jump back to things he might have been doing. Or it was really clever, like the way they intercut many different storylines. Like, really clever.
I think Sadie was getting annoyed with me because I was basically that Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I would notice something and go ooh, 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 and then 5 seconds later it would go into that's what they thought about doing for Psycho. And then 2 minutes later, Alfred Hitchcock appears. I'm like, what's going on here? And it just switches to like that. I'm like, this is
Tom Holland as well.
Hollander.
Tom Holland. Spider-Man. Yeah, Tom Hollander. Yeah.
I think the guy that played Hitchcock, he went full penguin on that, didn't he? Like, that was some wicked makeup.
Makeup was awful.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think it's closer looking. Bear in mind, he looks nothing like that in real life. I was like,
but I thought it was interesting
in presentation. The way he acted and the way he carried himself as well was very Hitchcock-like.
You got this sense there was a lot of kind of mummy kind of son issues going on in that period of time. You know, I thought that was quite powerful.
I think for me the issue was when you do these biopics or whatever you want to call them, like, there is a certain amount of lenience for artistic license to add entertainment value.
Well, it's not a biopic. It's a story. He could do anything he wanted. It's like
but
it's like
it went so far away from things that actually happened, especially the last episode, which just is complete act of fiction.
Inglourious Basterds happened up until the end. Parts of those were real, factual.
Yeah, but this is specifically about a specific person's life. It's not
really. What do you have? Why do you have to be like accurate to a sicko?
It didn't say.
Like you make a documentary about Bruce Lee and he ends up doing a drive-by shoot at the end. It's like it never happened, did it?
It's not a documentary, but also it doesn't say based on a true story. So Kev's absolutely spot on. It's just an Ed Gein story based on a TV series called Monster.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
Yeah, that's what was annoying me about it. People are complaining about the falsehoods. Who gives a shit? It's an entertainment program. We're sickos for watching it. Most people
100%.
were complaining about how disgusting and depraved it was, and then we're not complaining about any of that. We're like, yeah, that was good.
My friend phoned me and I was like, oh yeah, I've just been watching Ed Gein, and she was like, oh, what, you're going to bed? I was like, well, yeah, it's not that bad. Oh, it's not bad, is it? She's like, what? It's like my friends are like saying that they can't sleep and now they're like scared. I was like, well, don't watch Luther. I said the only thing that scares me is Luther, because that is fucked. Like,
that's creepy.
This guy, he's sort of mainly digging up dead people to skin them because of his mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're already. And what's great, grave robbery and opening and digging up graves was a little bit more.
It was fairly common back then.
Yeah, but also, that's what I said though. It's like, yeah, it's still. It's not something I plan to do.
In any bodies, they grave rob
serial killers. He's actually kind of the most of the people were already dead. Yes, they also didn't know where.
He's probably the best one as far as like the most tame, which is a bit mental, but didn't actually really kill anyone.
But also,
That's why the sex with the women and the corpses sort of doesn't really make sense, is
Well,
because
apparently
that
that didn't happen either. But
yeah, exactly, and that changes the whole psychology of it. But as we said, it is a program, but that changes the actual motive of it, of him just revering his mum so much. And I do wonder, like, if he had been able to dig up his mum that first time, would it have gone any further? If he hadn't seen those magazines, like whether or not that is true that he saw those in there, but the psychologist or Hitchcock says it. If he'd never seen these images, would he have been into the skinning?
but this is
But
also why
of like, we as an audience, we want more and more and more. Like our adrenaline levels in life and everything are like, yeah, but they've not been stabbed 20 times, so it's not that bad.
But I think it's clever because it plays off the audiences that are into these things, right? The idea that we're fascinated by serial killers and that's why we idolize them. And I think that that plays off itself in the show, the fact that there will be a following for this TV series.
Yeah.
And we're all watching
doesn't Charlie Hunnam at one point say to the camera, he breaks the fourth wall and say that's what they're into, or something like that?
Yeah, I think
Or does he say it to a character, but we're meant to see it as the audience?
Yeah.
They're talking about sick things in
But
Charlie Hunnam.
she feels very messed up. Kind of some of the things she was doing took him down that way. How I saw it in a concept is that he was a very vulnerable guy, that he was easily impressionable and his mental health condition didn't help. And he was looking for something to connect with. And because he met her and they shared a kind of dark passion and fascination with death and torture. And
and that's the bit I'm not sure if that's true or not.
That's what I was trying to find online.
We'll never find out.
Get these images. But these cartoon or these magazines, they were just rounded about everywhere.
Yeah, they're real.
He literally was just on the farm and would go to school, so he had no social things other apart from his mum, his alcoholic father, his dad, his brother, and then mother, who was nuts.
Abusive. He was abused.
Yeah, highly emotionally abusive.
Yeah.
And only a mother could love you. I mean, that's a funny phrase that I heard my mum say, like in Scotland and stuff like that. Like that's just a funny phrase, but she meant it. That's
my nan always used to be, "I bloody murder you." That was love.
Well, the few facts that we've got at the moment is that he's technically not classed as a serial killer, even though he's classified as the godfather of all serial killers because he's the most dangerous one from those days. But there's 2 murder victims confirmed, which is the woman in the shop and the woman in the bar. They are the 2 ones that he admits to killing, but there's at least 7 more that is suspected, but they can't prove that he did them.
And 2 guys, they never found the bodies, did they? I don't think.
Yeah, there was 9 corpses mutilated and desecrated, and that's kind of it. But there's expected to be lots more that they didn't find.
Well, apparently the skin suit thing was real.
Oh yeah, all that stuff's real. Everything.
Yeah, I find the skin suit. I mean,
it's like
crazy. Where's the thing about the 9 desecrated bodies?
On Wikipedia.
They're probably ones he's dug up, so aren't they?
Yeah,
that's corpses mutilated and desecrated, so they're obtained from desecrated graves, which just basically means robbed. And
it's like he was
he returned them afterwards as well, and this is why I want to know. Like, that's why the motive thing seems completely odd. He did just want to create this thing and then return it back to his thing. Like, there is some sort of moral code, it seems, mixed up in there.
Well, he went to steal a head so he could get a ball, and then he went to steal a hand so he could create a glove. Then he went to steal some faces so he could make face masks, and he got all these different body parts for different reasons.
But then he tried to set up his own kind of furniture village with people's skin, where he's making lamps with nipples and a chair with a nipple. And
there's quite a few chairs. I've seen some chairs because I was trying to find some of the
it felt darkly comic. I think they had to weave loads of humor throughout it, but there was moments.
I think there was comedy when he was teaching the old people how to make a rug at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how you make a rug. It's like,
yeah.
Why does he know how to use a wool thing because he's used to pulling skin. How's the automatically know how to use a wool machine?
I
I
think all the
also-
dancing in it was all a little bit weird. Not weird, but like, yeah.
That was creepy when he did that dance. That was one of the scariest moments when he had the face mask on and the police knocked and he turned and he's got that with the
Oh
hole
yeah,
in the
that
head.
was.
Because the thing that I want to see if there's any of the children he did look after, because that does seem genuine, if they have any memories. Because I think when I was looking up, there was one 16-year-old that said they went to the house and they said it smelled weird and there was some like weird things there. But
Yeah.
obviously it's overdone in the picture
I mean,
series, isn't it?
that magic trick is going to fuck you up as a kid. Like with
Yeah.
a bone, and then
Wow.
now's your finger. You're like, whoa, that's
That was
quite.
hilarious.
Good trick.
That's
Though.
what I mean. There's so much
Yeah.
dark comedy in it throughout.
I mean, he's using skulls as well, isn't he? Which is even better.
Oh yeah,
And what did you think of Laurie Metcalf? She was the actor that played his mother, Augusta.
oh, she's brilliant from Roxanne.
Oh, she was brilliant, yeah.
She's
Yeah.
good in everything.
She was
She's
also
really
in
good.
Scream too, man. She was Thingy's mum.
She's in Toy Story, American Dad, Big Bang Theory.
She was
Lady
brilliant.
Bird.
though.
No, she's
Mm.
Sheldon's mum, isn't she?
She
Yeah.
was so good in it. She was
I've
brilliant.
been rewatching Screams recently. I did number 3 yesterday.
Such
Well,
charisma.
She said that she was speaking to Charlie and she was like, I don't know whether to do this or not because it's a bit fucked. And he wasn't sure either. And apparently they both got on the phone to talk to each other. And they said, let's just play mother and son and play that, not play Ed Gein, play
Yeah,
that, see if it works. And kind
He-
of,
he said that in an interview. Sorry to interrupt, Kev. He said that we think we found a human story for them, and that's why we agreed to the project. And a lot of the messed up stuff was just like little stepping stones of trying to kind of bridge the mother-daughter relationship.
yeah. I really rate Charlie Hunnam now. I've never
Oh,
not liked him, but he does have crap films, definitely. But him in The Gentleman is
Oh,
so good.
Masterpiece.
And
He's brilliant in that.
Yeah, and I wish he did more stuff. So like this, hopefully this is opening. Whether people liked it or not, I hope it opens the gateway for
Well,
some
he
serious.
did Sons
films.
of Anarchy for years. It's a huge
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
like stop them being typecast, you sort of mean?
Yeah, he's always like gangsters and little wide boys, and even he was in Green Street with Thingy Bob, and it was good in that, but it was still a bit like
His
just
accent
playing
was
the
so
tough guy.
bad. He was an Englishman that couldn't do an English accent.
Also, do you know the director Ryan Murphy? What he started doing? He's obviously done horror-y things like this. He's done the Three Monsters shows. He's done Ratchet. You know that about that.
Oh, did he
nurse.
do that? It's a great show.
Yeah, and he did American Horror Story. But do you know
Great show.
what series he started off doing?
A
Little
comedy.
quiz. Any idea what?
Green Wing.
What an amazing show! But no,
Coronation Street.
no, it couldn't be even more polar opposite. You're trying to be funny, but
Married at First Sight.
it's even
Euro
funnier.
trash.
Even wow, okay, right.
You pushed
Glee.
him. You pushed into that.
He
Glee.
did Glee. That's the first
Wow.
thing he did.
What?
Glee.
I mean, that technically is like a horror movie because that
Yeah.
scared me. So
Fuck
It
it.
is awful.
Yeah, writer and producer
I
of
think that
that.
explains why he wanted the episode 8 of all kind of singing or dancing and.
Yeah, just like, yeah, because
But it was
if,
just a
like,
bit.
again, you look at like Ed Gein and like that thing with him and the therapist. I know that this bit is all made up, but he was like, it wasn't me that was doing those things, and like, you know, or there's a reason for it. I'm not evil. And then it's almost like at the end, it seems like he's happy. All these people are like really.
Well, yeah.
Well, like that
Yeah.
doesn't even match up. It doesn't follow on in its own series to me.
It was.
well, I'm going to say that director loves musicals then because
Yeah.
Glee is musicals. American Horror Story, most of the series have some sort of music. I don't know if you watch American Horror Story, but there's full-blown musical numbers in some of them. Like it's like there's an episode, one of the episodes in the Mental Institute one. It's a full-blown sing-song. All the cast are singing and dancing, and the same thing happens in Freak Show. There's like a whole sing and dance. Stevie Nicks is in one of the series, and she does a full-on. Like there's a
Isn't
lot
Lady
of
Gaga as
musical
well?
through that.
just-
Yeah, so maybe that's his his like niche.
It just felt really weird because it felt like a kind of a serial killer's wet dream when he's got all of these other serial killers telling him things like, "Oh man, I did this thing to her and I kept her shoes, man," and like it was really quite weird, the idea that they're all idolizing him in his own dream. But the reason why that confused me was he didn't want to be associated with them because he wasn't happy about it, because he even tried to put some of them away based on some of, if it'd be cool if that's real though, if he was so, that's a shame.
Oh, Drew.
That's it.
Oh,
Right.
Nonsense,
Let's go into, because we're talking about a few of the episodes now. Should we go into just like,
Yeah, let's go
we don't
into
have to talk
episodes.
long on each one, but like a little bit. So like, episode 1 is called Mother, and I think it's just introducing the fact that depression, and he's not quite well in the head, and obviously that's the opening scene where he murders his brother. Again, that bit's real. We don't know what happened. We don't know if he murdered. It's strongly expected he did murder, but the brother was found on a heap of burning stuff, and it was asphyxiation. That it was
What he said on the lie detector was actually true, wasn't it? He was in a fire, asphyxiation, smoke inhalation.
and he doesn't think he did it. That's the thing.
he might have knocked him out in this fight or whatever.
See,
but
these are the bits that I like.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like the little twisty bits I like, because you're like, It was
But
only
did
when they
it
went
good
like
enough?
really far fetched. I was like, oh,
But I love.
Yeah. What's his
I thought it had a bit of the kind of Joker element, because when his brother's like, "It's all good, man, don't worry," and he closes the gate, that reminded me of the Joker when he's imagining his next door neighbor saying, "Hey, do you want to go on a date?" And he's like, "Maybe." And it's like the way that they create scenarios of the people that are either not there anymore or someone they want to have in their imagination. They can have full-blown conversations, so it puts their minds at rest. So he's like, "I didn't kill my brother because I had a conversation with him after I hit him over the head." You're like, "No, you didn't, man."
Do you think that broke his brain? Like, he had issues before. Do you think the killing of his brother was the snapping point when he had to use his imagination to hide the horrors that he'd done, and then he used that as a tool to do horrors and hide from it? That's my interpretation.
That's a very good point, that he's created an alternative reality where he didn't kill his brother.
Yeah,
But
where like the pub
he got lost. He got lost in that reality where anytime he'd kill someone, he could just pretend it never happened.
Because it was a slower episode. It wasn't. It didn't hit as hard as I thought the episode. Like the
No pun intended.
episode
He hit him
2
pretty hard.
chaos, but episode 1 didn't. Yeah, hit me as hard. It was like it's a slow burn of an episode, but apart from the fact that the first time you really see him, he's getting doing a strangle wank behind the door, dressed in his
Oh, that was awkward as hell.
yeah, that's an opening scene and a half, isn't it?
And I think that was like shock tactics.
I mean, talk about danger wanking.
Get you hooked in. Yeah.
That was a shock tactic, you're right, because nothing like that happened again until like the episode where he's got the dead body on the table.
Because wasn't there? Well, sorry,
Yeah,
wasn't there a comedian that said, like, when you're doing danger wanking, that you start and then you just shout your mum, you go, "Mum, I'm upstairs," and the whole point is you're supposed to finish before your mum gets there, and you're like, "This is
Mother.
But
Mother.
it probably helped the fact that he's like he's playing this little weak old man type thing, and they've cast Charlie Hunnam in his prime of henchness.
Yeah, he's absolutely shredded, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, what gym is he going to? What gym is Ed Gein going to? He doesn't go to a single gym, and the whole time we see him, he's got a six-pack.
Farmer. He's a farmer. But when Ed Gein was like 20 odd, wasn't he, when he was meant to have done most of this and just didn't get arrested till he was 40? So it's almost sort of like
Is that the timeline of the show?
He looks like he's meant to be trying to be 35, 40, but then he's got this 18-year-old who's like pretty and following him around doing stuff. That's what it just doesn't marry up. And then he's like,
no, the span of his crimes are 10 years, from 1947 to 1957.
That's a great point. I've never actually thought, what is the time frame of episode 1 to episode 8?
So he was 41 when he started doing this, because he was born in 1906.
Oh,
wait, so
wait,
Charlie
the first
Hunnam's character is
one-
meant to be 41.
in his first
Yeah,
episode.
I think he literally is, though. In
No,
real
he
life.
is.
Yeah,
He
but
is.
no, the way he acts and his playing someone a lot younger, it appears. I
No,
would have put
but
him at like
that's because he's a
mid
vulnerable
to late
adult.
20s.
He's a vulnerable adult that's kind of a bit of a kind of a loner and a bit of a kind of
They
recluse.
make a point of that when he does the number 8, don't they? When he draws that number 8, and it's like really, really almost like an infant drawing it. You know, when
Charlie
he's
Hunnam
doing the.
is born in 1980. He's 45.
He
He's
looks great for his
older.
age. Yeah, do you know the bit where he draws the number 8 at the end when they're trying to calibrate the lie detector? And he starts doing like an S, and the bloke just looks at him and he's like, slow and steady. And he obviously can't. He's obviously illiterate, or not illiterate, but he obviously can't like
I don't
read.
think-
Yeah.
Well, in the reality of it, it says, they went and spoke to his teachers that said he was always often just seeming to laugh at his own jokes or just burst out laughing about something no one else could hear. He was good at reading and everything. It wasn't too bad, but he literally went from the farm to there and didn't socialise. So and that's why there's lots of things of Woody just to say. I mean, that's a little bit simple and not socialised and just a little bit God-fearing because of his hellish mother. If they hadn't had that strong attachment and then her randomly die and him like kill or lose his brother as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of trauma showing up in the first episode. So I know the show's not trying to give you empathy for him. There is a bit of sympathy towards the end where you go,
Loads. I think it's really like made everyone feel really sorry for him and being like, well, it was almost inevitable. But
well,
also,
mental
how
health
can
is
you
like
tell
that,
if this
man.
person has mainly spent their whole time away from people? People might have missed pointers that were there. He could have been killing animals and everything. Because there's no one to do a. So what was he like when he was young? Because there's no one sodding about.
Well, yeah, there's 40 years he could have been killing people and no one's ever noticed and no one's ever found out.
But also, they didn't have the police technology then either. So it was like the same with like Jack the Ripper. Like they still think they might know who he is now based on the technology, but they didn't have that back then.
Well, no, so let's go to the second episode then, because that brings that in. Because even when that woman gets killed, they knock on his door and go, have you seen this woman? And he goes, no, she's my friend. Where is she? And she's like, oh, she's been killed. Oh, damn it. I hope you find it. Did it. And they're like, that's our investigation done. It's not him.
Right.
Or when he goes to see his brother, there's like, that's such a shame.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And his mum,
Not my wingman.
the only time he gets upset is when his mum dies and stuff like that. And when he's crying on the grave of his mother, I thought, is this going to go into Saltburn territory? But I'm glad it didn't. Fucking the grave.
Inspired by Barry Keoghan. Yeah.
Yeah. But episode 2 is called Sick As Your Secrets. And that's where I feel this is where the series became amazing instantly, because this brings in Psycho and brings in Alfred Hitchcock and Tom Hollander and everyone. And I thought it was really genius because it brings in the fixation on his death, starts the grave robbing, and that's when we start seeing the Nazi fantasies. Because you forget the war has just ended. The war has just ended, so all these fan fictions of the Beast of Bar Clover or whatever. The woman that literally, the bitch. Yeah, she that's true. So that person was married to a high commander in the Nazi, whatever you want to call them, and
I think it was Goebbels.
She would pick Jews that she liked the look of, that had interesting freckles or scars or whatever, and go, I want that one, and then take their faces or their body parts and create actual lampshades and chairs.
It was Goebbels or Himmler. I'm pretty sure it was Goebbels that had like the skin lamps.
Wow.
So yeah, that's all true, and that's kind of the inspiration. And this is the bit I was going to say about earlier, but you probably noticed, if you didn't, or you subconsciously you would have noticed. You know the bit where Ed Gein goes to the cafe, and he gets his ice cream
the milkshake,
and he goes, "Can I have another straw?" And he puts 2 straws in. Then he sits with his girl, the girl he likes. She never touches the straw. Was she ever there?
Yeah, there's a few situations like that where people said, has this person actually been there? And we'll get onto it with his girlfriend later. But
yeah, there's a few things that nods to Sixth Sense, that they could be there or they could be imagination. I think he was fascinated with her, and they probably did go on a couple of dates, like the rollerblading, the roller skates.
Yeah.
After that, I don't think there was any contact.
I think she was twig when he's gone full batshit is when he's in a bar full of Nazis, which obviously we all know isn't what's going on, and then he.
So that was crazy. Yeah, is that the same episode?
Then you're like, okay, what is he really seeing?
There was a lot that went on that second episode because it did
Okay.
it brought in the Nazis and it brought in Psycho. It was
Yeah.
Psycho got more the third episode when it talked about the guy who played the character, but
Yeah.
the second episode was just the hint. Sarah, your battery is less than 20%. Just to let you know.
Oh, hold on.
How the hell do you know that?
Because it comes up as warnings because it can affect recording.
Really? That's clever.
Yeah,
It
it tells when your data's full and everything as well. But yeah, that second episode where it switches into the Nazi party of them abusing all the Jewish people in the concentration camps, and he sees them as a hero. That shows you
Yeah, that was fucked.
how sick it is.
I wonder how accurately they portrayed, because I didn't even think to look into this. Quite a big character in the whole thing is how accurately they portrayed the guy who played Norman Bates.
I thought it was pretty good, to be honest.
Was it accurate? Is it like?
Yeah.
He has a couple of relationships, doesn't he? And he's an asshole at the end, obviously.
Yeah.
That whole bit where he brought his boyfriend back and said, "When you walk out, like that's it." I was like, "What? Why are we still on this guy?" Like,
it did go into that for quite a while, but I think sometimes it's just good storytelling that if you stick on the same subject for too long, people get bored.
There was a Psycho 2 there, wasn't there?
There was a Psycho 3 and a 4, I think, as well.
Bloody yeah, all with the same actor. I'll check.
No, definitely not. I don't think so.
I thought it was strange because the lady at the bar that he shot, she knew he was a bit of a loner, and she says, "I know some girls if you want to have a bit of fun," because she was obviously connected to some circles of
in Chicago
or whatever it was. But I thought it was a bit awkward. But obviously, it was the mum that planted the seed of like she's a devil, like the idea of this is sinful. But she was just trying to help him out. She was just trying to help out a guy that was sexually frustrated, and then he shoots her in the head.
Because that's the bit that brings up the getting the dead body from the grave, trying to find his mum and put her in the chair and stuff. That's the start of that, and I think his house starts getting worse condition, doesn't it?
I think that's
I was at Lauren's watching it, and when it went to the house, the woman went over and was like, "I'm here to clean it up." Like maybe this is a reflection more on us than it is the movie thing, but we're like, it doesn't actually look that bad. Like sometimes, when you look at some things and it's like you can almost smell it. Like even though you're not there, you can always smell how bad it was. It was like just kind of looks like an old farmhouse that a bloke's been living in. It wasn't like festering, which it would suggest. And I think when they actually did find the house, he had boarded up quite a few of the rooms to keep them pristine where his mum lived. And it almost could have done that a little bit more, I think, with the visual shit.
Well, when she first visits, it's messy, and he's just been eating beans the whole time, hasn't he? Nothing else.
Messy, but not festering, which is what.
I mean, there was a skull on the dining table. I'd say that's messy, personally.
Oh yeah, but
especially as it belongs to somebody in the town.
Yeah, he skinned it. There's no maggots. It's a clean skull.
Kev, just to clarify, old Anthony Perkins was going on about being typecast in the show, wasn't he? The guy that plays Mate Boy in Psycho. He was in all 4 Psycho movies. 4. And then the only other notable ones I can see are Murder on the Orient Express in the mid-70s and Les Miserables in the late 70s. And then the rest are just look like B-rated movies, B-rated horrors, some pretty bad stuff.
Did he try and have therapy to not be gay?
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he?
I think that's what it was.
And do you think that there's almost a line of sense of that this guy is having therapy because he was, skinning people and like bodies and making flesh shoots, and someone else is going to therapy to stop their sexualization?
He did undergo conversion therapy.
How you're trying to almost at that time compare those two to the same things that you both need to be locked up in therapy.
He had electroshock and everything. It says here.
Yeah, back then it was obviously pretty horrible. But that's the thing when we start talking about Psycho and Alfred Hitchcock gets excited about the story because the only horrors that existed in that time were Frankenstein, Dracula, the Mummy. No one had played a killer or someone that murdered humans to that degree.
Monsters and
yeah, and he Psycho's. I mean, by today's standards, Psycho is nothing. In fact, it could be classed as pretty boring to a degree. Like it's slow paced, nothing happens.
No Terrifier.
yeah, it's not terrifying. You only realize about. I mean, it's not about blood and gore. I mean, it's got good suspension and stuff like that, but there's no violence in it, and people are getting sick in the aisles, and that was true. People were fainting in the cinema. That happened.
My
Like,
mum said she remembers watching The Exorcist and then not being able to go to bed on her own for like 3 weeks.
yeah, my parents the
Yeah,
same.
people because everyone died making that film, didn't they?
Yeah, but again, think of The Exorcist. That came out in the 70s. That is a very God-fearing time. That is a very religious.
And a lot of people were doing Ouija. That was a standard activity. My parents did it, like with their parents.
Yeah.
After dinner games. Sod
By the way,
Monopoly.
conversion therapy
Let's try and
worked because he got married and had 2 kids,
So did Michael Barrymore.
but also got diagnosed with HIV. So happy, sad story.
And James is straight now, so it works.
Bittersweet.
It does work.
He got rid of the beard to become the beard.
For the listeners,
Yeah, you're
James,
right. Them Ouija board things were like people don't do them Ouija boards anymore, though. It was all a joke back then, but not anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, episode 2. That was when he kills Mary Hogan. That was his first official murder, even though we know or expect that he killed his brother.
That's what I was going to say. Sorry,
Good shot, though, isn't he?
the reason I think he's ripped is because he's having to carry women across the town. Like, he didn't get a bus or a car. He's just carrying them across the field. Like,
No, he had a car.
oh, he did. Yeah, he did have a car, didn't he? Yeah, but he's like just dragging them along different things. Like, he'd have to be fairly muscular to.
Drew's fixated on Charlie Hunnam's six
I
pack.
mean, it's cheaper than the gym, I
Well,
guess.
you know,
When
why
did
do they
your
always cast good-looking guys?
conversion therapy start, Drew?
Why do they always cast good-looking
Drew
guys?
needs
as
conversion
serial
therapy.
killers? Huh?
You need conversion therapy now.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry. Why do they always cast good-looking guys as serial killers? That's my question.
Yeah.
Well, have you looked at the photos of the other people? His girlfriend. Did you see the photo of his girlfriend compared to what it was?
Yeah.
And the other people.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with all
That's
these
the thing
programs.
with like Hollywood and movies. They're like, well, everyone's got to be beautiful, but what? Even the people with like ugly spirits and ugly, they do ugly.
Well, that was the problem, wasn't it?
Most farmers are quite well ripped just from natural general manual labour. I want to know if he was drafted for the war. He was war age. Why wasn't he in the war?
Oh,
Good point.
Good point.
Probably because
and
no
he
one.
was
no one
damn
knew
good with a
existed.
gun. He was damn good with a gun. I mean, he was quite close up, but yeah.
And also, if you watch like Jeffrey Dahmer, that was the weird thing with that program is that everyone found it confusing because Evan Peters was so attractive in that outfit, and he's literally boiling bodies in his bedroom in a tank, and killing men and women, and yeah, everyone's going.
I
Yeah,
think
quite attractive.
Dharma and Bundy are worse than
No,
Gein.
Bundy's the goat.
Yeah.
Bundy's the goat. You know he killed like way more than who escapes prison? Right?
He jumped out of the window.
Jumps off the top bed, escapes prison, and goes right. Going to kill someone. Just like
And
no
if the
chill, was
portrayal
there?
of Gein is correct, then unfortunately, yes, he's bought like schizophrenia, mad mum, socially isolated, in a time where everything is kind of horror and things gets a bit simple-minded and whatever. There is a level of sympathy of him almost not being able to control what he was doing and like made these skin suits to be part of his mum, whatever. Ted Bundy, just disgusting narcissist that was able to use his charm and
But a
knew
genius.
people and
You
knew
remember
how
in the courtroom, the judge was like, if you weren't on trial for like multiple homicides, I'd offer you a job. It's like he defended himself, didn't he?
Yeah,
and
he's
almost got
charismatic.
himself off.
But that's the dangerous thing. That's the problem with psychopaths and narcissists. They can pretend, they can fake things really well, so they come across really well. But
that's what they're trying to figure out what the trigger is, isn't it? Because quite a lot of high-powered CEOs, they have the same brain patterns
Oh yeah.
and like the same enlargements in the brain as psychopaths.
Well, that's
But they're
American
trying to
Psycho.
they're not all but they're not all killing people.
yeah,
They're not
that's why
serial
a
killers.
psychopath
They're
is
trying to figure out what the trigger is that makes some people go on that path. But you have to have a level of not caring about anyone to be a big CEO anyway, because you're sodding with lots of people's lives.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
they fire so many people, don't they? Like, yep, cut these. Let's tell those people they lost their jobs. You're like, how can you be so cold? Because I'm a
You
psychopath.
have to have no empathy, I think, or
Yeah,
no
Sarah's
life.
right, because that is genuinely the definition of a psychopath, and people in high-powered jobs have to be psychopaths to a degree.
Or
They
sociopaths
can still
as well.
hold down a normal job and a normal lifestyle, families, and be nice and not hurt
People
anyone.
have no emotion
But
attached,
a
don't you?
psychopath in different sections. But it is a mental illness at the same time as well. So
Yeah.
it's weird. Episode
Episode
3 changes up again. So this is called The Babysitter. And
Oh.
does everyone know who the actor is? That's Addison Rae, the singer that played the baby.
I
I
thought I
knew
Noah,
she
recognized.
Noah.
looked familiar.
I thought I recognized her.
She's a famous singer. She's like
Yeah, she's really famous.
she's
I thought
she's
she
like
looked familiar.
she literally wears the same outfit on stage. She's literally in a bra and pants on stage singing to children.
That's
like,
why I know who she is. Kev.
Like she's an actress. She's been in like children's programs before, and now she's like big famous.
Two Girls, One Cup.
Huh?
Two Girls, One Cup.
She was in the sequel.
Wow.
Oh wow, that took a dark turn.
Wowee.
Leave that.
Two Girls, One Stein.
So with this section, this whole episode cannot be proved to be real, but a babysitter did go missing, and he is expected to be the cause of it, but no one can prove it. So it's good that they put it in because it's very likely, and it is part of the trajectory in the story, but there's no official confirmation. But like we said, in the 40s and 50s, how are you going to confirm anything? It was hard enough to confirm anything in the 70s and 80s. DNA didn't come into late 90s for police. So how are they going to prove this sort of stuff in the 40s? So
Just find newspaper clippings in the house, because I'd like to know what other newspaper clippings he had, like of other people or what.
Was Ed Gein
What
part of the
one?
Magic Circle?
I don't think he was in the magic circle. No, Drew. He
Uh,
literally knew
I'm
two
only
tricks,
joking.
and one was putting someone else's face on his head.
I'm
Well,
only-
how,
I mean, that was scary. Like, at first when he was doing this with the head, you'd be like, okay, this man's a bit weird. But then he pulled it down and he was wearing someone else's face. I'd shit myself, not going to lie.
yeah,
yeah,
that
but even
gave
when
me
he
a
said
bit of
that
a
to the girl, when he said
Not
that to
magic,
the kids,
though, is it?
when he said that to the kids, he says, "I'm going to be a girl. I'm going to take my head off," and you're like, "What?" That just sounds
Yeah, but in
messed up.
2025, Drew, you can just say that, and people have to take your word for it. I'm going to turn into a girl.
They were
I'll
going down
identify as a woman.
Whoa, easy now, easy.
But yeah, I did think that was an interesting episode because like we said, it probably did happen, and I think the episode was really good at giving the audience dread. Like when they're getting together and she can't do the babysitting, she goes, "Oh, why don't you do babysitting? We know what we're thinking. She doesn't know shit at this
Yeah.
point." And he's go over to the parents' house, and he's just like this lovely little man. You're like, yeah,
He did look after quite a lot of kids.
yeah, I'd
And
trust
they
him.
loved
He seemed
him.
like a lovely guy.
He got on well with kids better because he was so sort of simple-minded.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. I think that did genuinely happen, but most people were kind of happy with him.
I think that episode felt very American Horror Story-ish for me, proper horror. When they look out the window and he's there one minute, gone the next, and then the door she hears and the creaking at the thing. Little boy's asleep with the toy gun, like on him there.
Well,
that
goal
felt
was
like
going.
proper
I
horror.
thought
That
that was
episode.
Yeah, they built the tension really well with
It
that.
felt very Halloweeny, like Michael Myers sort of style.
That is the episode I went Leo meme again, and I'm going, I know that, because the second she was tied to the chair and he brought that big bucket, I was like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre did that.
Wow.
And he put the hammer in his mum's hand.
Very
And
clever writing. Who thought
then
that?
fake mum.
cuts to Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it's the dad doing it, and it just takes clumps out of her head. And I was like,
I
that's
don't think I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
sorry,
I think I've seen it.
have you not? It is genuinely a great film. It
Both
is a
films are
great-
good as well, because I heard the original was amazing, but the remake with Jessica Biel was amazing as well.
I mean, I don't want to see
True,
that.
there's a few remakes to put. You got to be careful with the remakes because
No,
one
but
of the
I'm saying
remakes.
if you look up Jessica Biel, I know how good that one is. That one's really good.
I watched one of the remakes the other day, and the final scene is they get in a Tesla
I know.
and they say, "Oh, drive to wherever," and it obviously starts off real slow because it's going really slow. One of the people just rips out and then just gets their head cut off, and the other person just there driving away really
that one's
slow in a
ridiculous.
Tesla. It's just like
What, like
put your foot down.
Get out the way!
It's like ridiculously slow.
just a
Consider
dark
just putting your foot down.
Tesla. Like,
So just to confirm, there's 4 remakes. There's Texas Chainsaw, there's Chainsaw 2, there's Return of the Texas Chainsaw, and then there's Leatherface, Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Which-
But in 2006, there was a new one, another remake. 2003, the Jessica Biel one came out.
that one's very good.
2013, another one came out, and in 2022, another one came out.
This is what I'm saying to anyone listening to this episode. I'm saying check out the Jessica Biel one because that one's fucking awesome.
But watch the original, because watch the original imagining that no one had seen anything before this. Like the wheelchair scene.
It was one of the most grimy. It was one of the most grimiest ones at the time, the most disgusting because it has visual and actual gore in it. It was one of the first gore ones that made it big.
Was that?
Isn't the guy that made it though? Isn't the one that, or one of them, the director of it, said rewatch it from an animal's point of view because he's now vegan, and he said it's just what we do to animals. Like if you watch it from what animals see from being slaughtered and stuff, so he's now vegan. So he's like it like put him off.
Wow.
Like almost eating because he was like, if you actually watch it, that's what happens to animals on a daily basis, kind of thing. If that kind of perspective of someone
you mean like in an abattoir where they just, whatever they're doing?
Yeah, they just see someone like shooting all their mates in the head.
Well, that's the point.
Like,
he's basically acting like an abattoir because he in the film he grabs her and just like screaming. He just puts her on a meat hook on her back.
This must be the 2022 version or something. The one with the Tesla. It's so funny. Basically, the Tesla gets them killed.
But yeah, like Tobe Hooper was the director of that, and he wrote things like he did things like Poltergeist and stuff as well. So he's done quite a lot of horror movies, and he's been involved with Freddy Krueger a bit as well. So he's been in lots of different things. But yeah, that bit was really good, and I thought the creepiest bit for me, apart from what Sarah said with the head coming down and the face mask on, is when it cuts to him cleaning the house, hoovering and dancing. And we don't.
Is that when it pans away at the end? It just slowly does a pan.
We don't see his face. We just see the back of his head while he's hoovering in women's clothing, and that's when the police knock the door.
Oh,
and it's creepy and hilarious at the same time. He turns around and he's wearing the mask. He's like, "Oh Jesus!" And then he's like panicking because the police are there. He's got to change out clothes and answer the door.
It was like an answer.
He's wearing the whole skin suit, isn't he?
He's still wearing the skirt when he opens the door because you see it. They just don't look, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, he was wearing a tight still or something, wasn't
And
he?
the skirt and the tights, but they're not looking like waist out, obviously, because they're not wearing.
But that's when you realise it's getting worse because he's not just done one or two. Because this is the beginning, remember? This is like nothing majorly bad's happened. He's dig up one body, maybe killed his brother, and then this is like going full into torturing and embalming and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, because that's things that like, was it getting progressively worse? Because they found him when the shopkeeper, he had her hooked up. And was bleeding out, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, like, was he going to make something out of her skin, or was that just decapitation? Just,
Definitely. Next episode 4 was called Green, and that's when one of my favorite actresses, Leslie Manville.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And it's really disturbing watching that program because I love her specifically for the BBC comedy Mum. Have you seen that?
No.
Is that gunshot number 2?
Technically, this is, well, in theory, he's killed the babysitter in the program, but in reality, this is the second confirmed killing of the shopkeeper, where it's got
this one was a sad one because she's a very good actress.
Yeah.
She's also sweet.
There's no proof that they did have a sexual affair.
No.
She's trying to start again, isn't she? Technically, but yeah.
And again, it's all kind of fabricated for the story. So it's a weird episode where episode 3 and episode 4, nothing technically could have happened in real life.
Yeah.
So
I wish I'd gone to. So I went to Prague the other day, and I went to a horror bar, and they had loads of like different things on the wall of films that all associated with horror and thrillers and slasher movies and that. I wish I'd gone there now and been like, "That's Ed Gein, that's from Ed Gein, that's from like that one." Like,
that's all inspired.
A couple of skin lamps.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things
inspired. Shots out of like a nutsack and just.
That's just at my house.
That's where I last had it.
Oh, yeah, no, I really enjoyed that episode, but it was definitely changed the tone, didn't it? It changed into kind of like a like just an interesting drama with Leslie Manville, like holding the reins. She was so good in that.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, it was really cool. It's very each episode is so different. Like so,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's why I struggled to because I watched it very disjointedly. I watched the last 4 like in a one-er, but the first ones it was like it's like so sort of all over the place, isn't it? I found it quite hard to. There's no real flow. Hello, cat.
But again,
But now I think after watching the whole thing, similar to the film we watched, One Battle After Another, where I thought the beginning was a bit shit, but after watching it all, I was like, now the beginning's actually quite good. I think if I rewatch this whole show, I'd probably get more of an enjoyment, which I probably will do, watching it all through again. But because it was so disjointed and out of place,
I think, like we said, because it's such heavy material and information that if they kept on one track, I think people's brains would melt, or it would just be too gory, too disgusting. Because
it just goes like wild, doesn't it?
Like him just going to get another body, and like I wish there was more of him sort of making the items, because that I think is the worst bit, where he's just using it kind of as a leather. Like that is
like
more
a tutorial in case you want to do it yourself.
Yeah, mainly. I've got a sewing machine I barely use. I want to get some tips, but no, I'm like
nipple belt.
Yeah, but like him doing that and the intricacy, I think that is the most depraved part of like actually skinning a corpse and making stuff. And they've almost skipped that bit out. I know he's got some of the stuff and he's wearing a head and stuff, but actually making the skin suit and almost like wrapping it around him before he does it, I think that would have been worse.
See,
You've
maybe
got
that's
a
what
good
they're
point,
on about.
because the act of murder is instant, whereas what goes into it afterwards is hours and hours and hours of like work.
Well, Charlie Hunnam and that was trying to say that they were trying to not sensationalize this program, and I don't know if they succeeded, because it is pretty sensational. In the sense that it's
around with a head on and him fucking corpses, I think is sensationing it more than.
Yeah, I'd say
I think it could have been like
quite vulgar.
given to what it was. It was already disgusting what he was doing, and they've had to sexualize it.
How can you've got to water it? But it was like watering down the reality is still going to be heavy. But like you said, we didn't see him sewing nipples or literally cutting bits of skin off actual bodies. We didn't see the actual doing. So maybe that's the bit they tried to sensationalize by not doing that, by doing just showing the aftermath as opposed to all the base, because that would have been a bit too much. Maybe
I feel like it was so darkly comic in so many places, right? Because when they go on the date and he's like, "Can I have your bra?" and she's like, "Oh, you cheeky," and then it's like she gives him it, or she's wrapping up underwear for him. But then also like when his girlfriend, I mean, I know I'm jumping a couple of episodes, but when he's like, we're gonna get married, I want to have a bit of time with you, sort of thing, in the bedroom, and she's like, you need to ask a girl that can't say no, and he's like, what? And then they drive up to the graveyard where it's kind of pick your girl for the night sort of thing, and then he starts to get besotted by said lady of the night, technically, that he can't, when it's the right temperature, he can't enjoy it, because he's like, you're too warm. So then it cuts to the ice getting poured in, and it was just so darkly comic. Like,
I put money on none of that was real. That was all his brains, because
because then she's at a friend's and it's like, oh, I found him someone to go steady with and stuff like that. It was all just a bit too tongue in cheek.
Then you find out she's shebonking some random bloke.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Then she threatens to say that he bought a pig, put its trotters in his boots. Like, she's comedian. That is some funny stuff. What she come out with?
Yeah, there was
I thought that people would believe that was a bit troubling.
Because if people decided to take a disliking to how she's been portrayed, there's none of it that is like being able to prove that she was at all. Sorry,
she's not pleasant either, is she? Though, because like beating that woman in the hotel,
she's horrible. At the end, when they're at the yard sale, she's like, "Yeah, roll up."
Should we go into episode 5, because that's her episode called Ice, and that is where Adeline, she goes to New York to find her hero, which is a street photographer called Ouija, and he takes, well, from the film's perspective, he takes pictures of dead bodies on the street in New York. He doesn't, because genuinely, I've got his book.
Woo!
And I'm not weird. He is a street photographer. He's got photos of all sorts of nice and normal things, but it is
Several of them
usually,
pages are stuck together, Kev.
it is usually edgier stuff, to be honest. And there is a section at the front that just does have lots of dead bodies on the
we
street
see?
bleeding out. Because
And the actor that plays him is Ross's dad from Friends.
What?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like lots of pictures like that of just police standing around people that are on the street dead, and people being stabbed and shot in real time. Like he goes out with a police
the good news
officer.
about shooting dead bodies is the continuity is always good because they're never going to change position. So you can always get,
Get a few different shots,
The
do a
right
few different angles. But he's a great photographer.
They're easy to work with.
But yeah, no, he goes around and catches the nightlife and stuff like that. So there's like mad stuff in there as well, and 90% is of living people. But he just happens to be involved in some crime stuff. But I thought it was a great episode. Again, probably none of that happened. But it was
I
a
also
good
felt like
departure.
she had similar elements to him because she's imagining a reality where he thinks she wants her to come all the way to New York to try out and be his kind of protege. But again, she's living out this fantasy because the way that she's so horrible to her friends, like, oh, when you come back, she's like, you'll never see me again. Bye. You're like, what? Like,
She's a proper knob, isn't she?
she burns the bridges with all of her pals, goes to New York, freezes her tits off, beats the crap out of a lady for not putting the heating on, travels
Which shows
back.
she's violent as well.
Yeah, travels back to then go, actually, I need to get my groove on with Ed Gein, otherwise I'm going to have no friends in this town.
Well, he wants a companion that understands his mental perversion, and she's it. But again, did any of that happen, or is this all in his brain to kind of make him feel better? More than likely.
Yeah, like a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed.
But I think with them saying that he didn't want anyone to feel sympathy for him, they've completely unloaded it, almost blame that would go on to him as like Ed Gein, to his mother and then his girlfriend.
Very true.
They've made him like a victim, like inadvertently.
Yeah, of two women.
Well, deliberately, probably.
And do you reckon she was like fame hungry? Obviously, back then that's not really a thing that existed, but she wanted attention.
No, I think it was back then. It was fame hungry. It was when movie stars were getting starting to become a thing, and you see in these magazines and that, and it's like fame was new then.
Good point.
This must be at this
Chaplin
time.
Stuff to the 20s.
Well, he was born in 1906 or something.
Yep.
So at this time there would have been 1930s.
No, 1947.
Well, she wasn't like. But okay, it's 1947. So this is a time when movies were becoming a big thing. Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that lot was starting to become the starlets, should we say? So maybe it didn't show too much for her seeing it, but he's buying Nazi magazines. Maybe she's buying like whatever Heat magazine was back then, and
Ouija murders.
She's seeing the movie stars getting all the glitz and glamour. It's a brand new thing. You're like, oh.
I think she was just.
But when you can't look anything up of her, you can't find anything really.
No,
and I can't even find any newspaper articles where she's even been questioned. I'd love to see if she was actually properly questioned. She did change her story a few times, and it was like, at first she was like, "Yeah, we're engaged," and then when she realised how heinous his acts were, it was like, "No, I had nothing to do with him."
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't
can't really blame us.
I think it was confirmed they met twice or went on 2 dates or something. That's about it. But obviously, she in the story she's milking it, isn't she? That she likes the attention. But
I mean, I guess in real life, say you were even nowadays, if you had loads of like behind closed doors meetings with someone, they turned out to be a serial killer, you probably deny it.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
and especially there, like when you're seen as. There's still the era of if you've been seen to be hanging around with another man that you're tainted anyway, let alone a man that's been making skin soup, probably would definitely deny that out of that's not your dodgy ex that's gone for like a bit of a drinking habit.
Sleeping with half the town's dead people as well is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way that anyone can call this not dark, but I think the next episode is probably one of the best episodes, number 6, which is Buxom
When he
Bird.
gets caught.
And that's when, the police, it turns into a Mindhunter episode, basically.
Oh,
With
yeah.
Oh my
I say
God,
those
yeah,
two
yeah,
police
yeah,
officers
yeah.
are brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they should have just got the people from Mindhunter,
Yeah,
because
I
they
agree.
look pretty much the
I thought it
same.
was them for a
They
second,
go
though, when
to
they were
the
coming up.
hardware store first, don't they? And it starts there.
Yeah, well, it's him finding his mum, trail of blood, his mum's
Yeah.
shop.
Because I didn't realise that was his mum. Did anyone else before then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that didn't click for me.
But, yeah, that's the bit where he goes to the house and he finds his mum.
I think I'd read it up before I watched this, so I don't know if it was a natural from the filming that I.
I
Yeah.
didn't know it was his mum until he started beating the shit out of him.
The bit
Well,
where
in
we
reality, he didn't attack Ed Gein because he didn't know that was his mother hanging up because it didn't have a head.
Well, you wouldn't, would you?
So,
No, but he did attack him later on in questioning.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, I don't know if it was the same guy that his mum, but the heinous of his crimes, one of the
That's
guys
when-
that was questioning him beat the shit
That's
out of
when
him.
things started to get a bit horrific for me. Like, not for me, but like that's when the whole thing started to get a bit horrific. When they find the body, it's like they go into the house and see what's really going on, and you see the Adeline,
Bubbling
whoever
heart.
didn't actually clean the house, and like all these extra
You
things.
just see the
and
heart bubbling away, which reminded me of Blade Runner 2047, when you got that weird slug stuff bubbling away
There's
at the beginning.
butterflies or something flying around as well.
Yeah, that was
Well,
nuts.
that was a nod to Silence of the Lambs for me
Yeah,
when I saw the
100%.
moths.
Yeah, it's Buffalo
Moths, I
Bill.
guess,
It was
yeah.
proper Buffalo Bill style with the moths. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously.
Oh, I thought it was just like flies to sort of say how infested and
It was like
stinky.
butterflies or moths, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
specifically moths, yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
was to tie in the Silence of the Lambs thing, which
Yeah, when
it goes full on later on. But that episode that was obviously the most disgusting thing is the fridge, the box of labias, basically just
Oh,
sitting there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
them
that was
picking it up,
nuts.
going, "What's this?"
That was nuts.
It was nasty. But those things are true.
Dried
Those
out
things are real.
oysters.
Well, that's it. The heart was on the stove. There
Yeah,
was
bubbling away.
intestines in a bag. There was a head in a satchel. It was as bad as it kind of looked. And I think that was the weird thing about it, because that's when the speculation of, was he a cannibal? He says no. The reality is there's no proof, but he did give food to neighbors from his kills and stuff.
That was messed up.
So I believe that it's true that he was a cannibal.
When it did the mess
And gave food to other people. Oh.
that's the bit for me where, because like you're saying, I felt sorry for him in the way the show portrayed it, but when he was chopping people up and giving it to the neighbors, that's when I was like, that's malicious intent. That's not
Yeah.
like, I made you a pie. That's fucked up. Like, what? It's
I
like,
don't recognize this meat. What is this part?
yeah, and it's like,
am I back, by the way?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, just
That-
kicked me out for some reason.
that's why it was like, yeah, that felt like almost like him manipulating people and a kind of power trip, because he's aware what they're eating and they're not, and it's like, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
It's hard to kind of defend. Well, not that other stuff's defensive, but
No,
it's hard
yeah,
to defend those actions that feel planned. And
Yes, that's what I mean. He's gone out of his way to make a pie, and then it's like, I mean, look, you're not going to have a kind of come dine with me with Ed Gein. That is not going to go down well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Ed Gein and Dharma.
yeah.
yeah, oh, that's two cannibals and two. Well,
Yeah,
two
'cause,
potential
you've
One
cannibals.
got
thing
heads in
throughout
the
that
fridge.
you've probably just been talking about this is when I was off, that when the bloke says, you were taking old deer meat to people that you didn't have.
That's
Yeah,
what we're
that's-
talking about. Yeah, the cannibal.
Is that true?
We just said there's no confirmation, but it is pretty much speculated. Yeah, I believe
That's what I
it's
want
true.
to know. Was like any like character sort of stuff come like from all it says was Ed Gein was known as a quiet, nice man. That was just a bit simple around the town. I want to see some of like if people were interviewed regarding his.
Well, for me, that bit's true, because you wouldn't be able to grave dig and get some meat and give to someone, because it'd be fucked up, wouldn't it?
Well,
So
no,
if
he was looking in the obituaries and digging up people that died yesterday.
Yeah.
So they're fresh meat. They haven't even
if
got
people
red
don't
horse.
die and then get buried the next day, that's not a thing. Like, there's days that go to autopsies, all that sort. Even back then, there was autopsies, and there was a good week or two, and by the time they're in there, it's not cookable meat that's fresh. Like when
Cook anything.
you can't cook old meat like that. Like you'd know it would smell. Like, but if he was doing that, then that would be a nod towards maybe them 2 women he did kill. That
And maybe
was
the
the
2
meat
guys
he was
that with the
given.
chainsaw he did as well. So maybe there was murders. Again, none of these things. It's all kind of grey area.
That's what I was like. Oh, that's the clue that he was killing people fresh.
Maybe, guys, maybe that's why thyme existed in all these herbs. Because if you put that into the pie, that's going to mask the smell of dead meat.
Yeah,
You'd be sick.
So
Also, he was a farmer, so it's like, are we trying to again change what his actual motive was? Because as the psychologist said, his thing was how much he really revered like these women. He was so much he wanted to be inside them, because he physically was told he'll never be able to. It was about him really wanting to become a woman, as opposed to when you see it as if that is the only thing that he was doing, was making these skin suits and stuff, still really bad, rather than the sexual thing and then giving meat to other people. Those 2 things completely change the psychological direction of the crime. That's why it's like, what did they happen? Do we know if that happened? He did live on a farm. He was a hunter, so it could have still been meat. But like the second you give label one thing, that's it. Everything goes into question, doesn't it? But
that's
the
really
thing
good point.
that I was saying that bugs me a bit was, if the whole story was portrayed as a bloke that got wound up with 2 women, popped them in the head, killed 2 people, and then was just really into like digging up graves and doing this, but versus a bloke that was just literally murdering everyone just for no real apparent reason, just for bloodthirst, and then doing it. It's like, it's so far apart, it's insane.
I like
after
schizophrenia
watching it
with
all,
extreme
it's
attachment
still
issue.
entertaining. It's still
What's
good,
the
and I
link-
get why they did it, but they really went like
What's the link to the
full spectrum
chainsaw as
with it.
well? Like, was it just like he just saw it and thought that'll be interesting?
Well, that never happened either. So that's like
Yeah,
when it's gone full fictional.
No,
he
but
also
this is
used
the problem,
chainsaw
though.
to cut bodies. That's
No,
called like when
Freddie-
they deer them, when they hang them up, they use them to cut the bodies.
But the
Yeah,
idea
but when they
that,
did the whole leatherhead thing and that, but
yeah,
then
but that's
from
what I'm
what
saying.
Kev
If that
said,
was,
made a
What
lot
was
of
ridiculous
sense.
when he was swinging it round his head and stuff? That was
I
like,
think
he was
but that's
I think what Kev said made a lot of sense. A lot of it comes from ideas that people had about him,
in the town. No,
which
that's
I
what I said that at the
kind of
beginning as
get.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
based
Well,
on
the
hearsay.
swinging of the
Of
chainsaw as a direct copy of the film,
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre, what he does at the end. But I think
So I
Sarah's
get a
point,
lot of it is filmed
one
on the
sec.
people's thoughts of it.
Sarah's point is really interesting. The fact that this guy didn't hate women. This guy wanted to be a woman. Most serial killers hate women or hate their mothers or hate something, and it's an attack on women. Whereas he was kind of the opposite.
He was fascinated.
or he wanted to, though those were, well, dependent on why he did actually kill them. If it was because he saw them as hussies, or maybe they saw something or said something they weren't supposed to, or he was having like a schizophrenic episode or whatever.
Good point.
But yeah,
The
if
two
you're doing it
the two
that
women
way,
killed
again,
are-
revering his mum's memory, he held as a saint.
Yes, it's a bit of both. So the 2 women that he definitely killed were people that he thought were promiscuous or not proper women, or
Yeah.
back then anyway.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the ones he desecrated and defiled from graves are ones he wanted to be part of, I guess. So it's 2 different, split personality as well, yeah.
I guess this is filmed a little bit different than the first 2 monsters. Which probably what not confused me, but got me a bit, is Dharma, I think, is relatively accurate, like to what it is. Same with the Lyle and Kyle Menendez. This one has gone on a kind of like 50-50 fact, what we know or believe, mixed with what stories have gone on down the line and people have been led to believe, like,
Well,
that
James,
Gein guy killed people with chainsaws, so yeah, it was
James,
like
what's
that.
the
It's all
biggest
kind of like
difference?
built.
What's the biggest difference between those 3? The time. The other 2 were in the 70s and 80s. We had police, we had records, we had CCTV, we had
Records from my psychiatric units, or like his sessions that we can read and give it on and like stuff.
Yeah. that's why serial killers don't really exist today, because there's too much CC. How it's very difficult to get away with it. Although I did see an article today
We do, though. We do.
In America, there's apparently someone going mad at the moment, and 16 people have been killed in the last few days in separate instances.
Jeez.
Is that like being pulled out of that bayou or whatever it's called?
Yeah, Bayou. Yeah, I can't remember where it is.
I haven't read up enough about that, but I saw it.
It's the Bay Harbor Butcher, man, for real.
Yeah, I just saw the headline. Is it?
Just throw it out there. I read a hilarious news report earlier. It was a 14-year-old murder case. Woman stabbed 20 times, and now they've put it down to suicide.
What?
Imagine doing it once would be almost impossible. But
And
doing
they
it
did
20
three
times.
mental health issues, and it was with a small knife, and that
Well, again, number 6, I think, is the most interesting episode, because that brings in Ted Bundy into this episode as well.
Oh, yeah.
Who is shown to be.
I didn't ever realise what his crimes were, but he is disgusting.
6, did you say?
Yeah, episode 6. Yeah, isn't it?
No, 6 is the arresting.
Yeah, but it's still
7 is
Ted Bundy.
ham radio.
Yeah, but 6 still. Ted Bundy creeps in. It's only a little glimpse, and then he comes in more in episode 7 as well.
6 is Ted Bundy and Birdman, and Birdman is frightening, but he's got some amazing dialogue. They have some dialogue.
Yeah, because Ted Bundy always pretended he was hurt, and then killed women, took them away, and then murdered them, and then revisited them for later on.
That's depraved.
Yeah, but he did it to lots. He did multiple people in the same night, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but episode 7, Ham Radio.
That's when it all unravels, and absolute genius of Charlie Hunnam comes through. What an actor! After this, the whole thing, I was like, he's decent, but weird accent, standard Hunnam. But this, I was like, I found myself feeling bad.
Well, the episode
and even when the Nazi girl was going, "You're different from what I thought you'd be. You're so nice and caring and kind."
Yeah. But
it was almost what he wanted to be
the one
told.
episode where you realised that, oh shit, the stuff from before might not be real. Before you read the articles, you realised yourself. Because I didn't know any information until I read afterwards. Because when it goes mad, because the ham radio one, just for the audience, is that he's in a mental institute and he gets on friendly with a nurse, and he gets some money and he wants to buy it. She goes, "Can you get me some ham radios and send it to people?" So he gets a radio.
He wants 3, doesn't he? And she's like, "Why do you want 3? There's only one of you."
He sends it to the Nazi woman. He sends it to the transgender woman, who's the first famous celebrity to have changed sex to
undergo the procedure.
In the entertainment industry, and he has conversations with them both, and he feels better from it. And then you realise by the end of the episode that never happened, and it was all in his brain.
But did you notice that the two of them looked?
There's an amazing twist where
James Drews.
Did you notice that the transvestite lady looked, or the transgender person looked very similar to the German lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could be the same person.
No. But I'm just saying it was
similar aesthetic.
It was fascinating. They looked very similar.
I think the crazy thing is, that he's not talking to him, because how would he possibly have got them radios there?
Yeah, I don't know, because
when it's actually pieced together and the doctor's actually saying to him, and you see that nurse walk around looking, and he's doing that German voice or the other lady's voice, and then it pans down and nothing's connected, and the guy's the other two are in a storage locker. How else? We don't know where the people live. How do you think we would have got there? Just you the whole time.
And
he's bawling the whole time.
The language I heard was from the language I heard was from the Nazi woman. He goes, he's like, "Ed, you've only ever been speaking to me. Those are words I've said to you." And he's talking to the therapist.
Yeah.
He's like, So, but when those ham radios came out, I was like, bullshit, no way.
I was gullible.
Way.
Guys, I was absolutely gullible, because then the twist worked, because I was like, how the hell did he get it to the people and have those conversations?
I thought they were going to keep it as it really happened, so I'm glad at the end they went, I was like, thank
God.
God.
It was bullshit. And then the whole thing where we all know he imagined he murdered that nurse with the bloody chainsaw, because obviously that was never going to happen, but the whole thing like crescendoed with him hugging her at the end.
Yeah, and then he said thank. Yeah, see, that's again, it's another thing
It
where
was
they
like a
say they
big
don't
turning
want to feel
point.
sympathy for him, but you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
And
was
that-
really sad watching the whole realization that they weren't there. It was you doing both stories. And I think the doctor played a really good role. Like I said, the two police officers were brilliant.
Mm.
We don't think we mentioned when the guy got the electric cutter and was cutting the turkey.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, yeah, that was
And Matey
that-
Boy was having like almost about to flip out
post-traumatic stress
and had the
disorder.
whole
Yeah,
flashback of his
his
mum on the thing.
Yeah, that was
And
just
that guy didn't even think this is a bad idea. He's
Yeah.
like, look what I've got.
yeah, just
that
showing off
was
the
one of the most
technology.
What an
disgusting.
arsehole. He's meant to
That
be
was one
his
of the most
mate.
disgusting scenes because it was the
Yeah.
first time you saw flesh getting cut. Even though
He's
it
having
was-
a full blown like panic attack.
It was really
Um,
clever though, that bit.
But
Actually.
yeah, the nurse thing and everything was brilliant. And when he hugged her at the end, and
that's also
that acting in that
When he
was
realised
top
he
notch.
hadn't done it, and he was so happy like that. But it did really make you sad when he was like, "I'm seeing ghosts," and he was so thankful,
Well,
almost like
If you
that's why.
noticed, it was the first time when he broke down in the hall. It was the first time he admitted to killing anyone. When he said, "I've killed Nurse whatever, Rocks or Ricks, whatever she's called," it was the first time he'd ever admitted killing to anyone.
Oh
and he
yeah.
hadn't.
Yeah.
Didn't he did no? Oh, hadn't he already admitted killing the other two by then?
No, he was in denial.
No, it was you never saw. There was a gap between the lie detector and him being in the
Yeah,
mental asylum.
there wasn't really any time frame to follow, was there?
No, because it was like, it was like lie detector. We're selling everything in your house. It was
Well,
like
yeah,
no.
that was the other bit when they were selling, and that happened. The police tried to sell some of his items, and then it mysteriously burned down. Which,
Mysteriously, wink, wink.
Seriously, yeah.
well, that's it. Even when you watch that, what I mentioned to James and Drew earlier, like on Netflix at the moment, you've got a program called "The Father of the BTK Killer," and the daughter goes to visit her home when she was a child, and it's been demolished. It's just a plot of land now. And when she visits it, the neighbor comes out furious, going, "We have to still live here. We can't sell our homes." She's like, "Fuck."
I will say there is it's the one point where there is an obvious timeline from when he does the lie detector to when the house sell, because the deputy that's obviously not a deputy anymore has like stubble, he has like his hair's out of place, and he's like
And
doing a
obviously when
whole
the agent
thing, and then his
comes-
mate comes up and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, so there's a clear like timeline between them where they've declared him mental, but
and
it's quite quick, isn't it?
and I think that's when
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be much from the like his brother dying to then his mum having like the strokes to then how long she was ill for. And then I'm like, how does no one in the town, how's everyone in the town not realise his mum's dead?
Well, no one
See,
liked her, did they? It turns out
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
end that no one liked her.
You'd think that more
and she was a
people
recluse
would have
herself.
known.
She probably sent Ed out to get the groceries. She probably never left.
Yeah.
But then you go into like episode 8, which is aptly aimed the Godfather, because obviously everyone sees him as the godfather of all serial killers, even though that's again debatable. And that's the maddest episode, because that's like Drew, what you're on about with like the Birdman, which is Richard Speck. And again, none of these people.
Great
none of
actor
these
though. He had
people
some great
confirmed-
dialogue.
Yeah, he was.
We're going to say some great something else's then. All
Great
I can
setup.
hear is like Matthew McConaughey.
Great
whatever you
set of
call it.
balls.
Yeah, he had that sort of vibe,
Do you like
didn't he?
these titties? Do you like these titties?
Exactly. Oh, I can't do that.
It was
Well, I
a
can.
it was a creepy
Makes me feel
episode.
awkward.
You can do it better
Yeah,
than Drew. But yeah, that's the maddest episode, because that's the one where I didn't lose interest, but I was like,
Yeah. Oh, then I was like, I'll just shut up now.
Wait,
It
is
was
that
in
the one where the guy said, "We brought you a gift," and he unpacks it? He goes, "It's a shoe. It's a high heel. It's a number 8."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my god, can I just jerk in it now?" And you're like, "What? Like, no, we're gonna do the interview first, man."
and that's a real guy, and he did do shit like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why you get gift receipts.
He's a Mindhunter, and he's one
Yeah.
of the worst. One of the worst of them.
Well, he decapitated his mum and then made his dead decapitated mum's head, given fellatio.
That's messed up. I was about to say that might have made it
I'm
interesting.
surprised they didn't do a monster on him.
I was
'cause
about to
he
say
is
that, but
fucking
then
great.
One of the things I would say was, who do we think, who would be our top 3 next monster things?
Well, we
I
already
think-
know.
I think almost there's something. The film called Monster was
With
the
Eileen
woman.
Eileen
Yeah.
Wuornos.
I think she would be a good one,
She
but again,
needs-
it's
because
about.
she only killed bad people.
But a lot of people say she lured them to do stuff. But yeah, she just was
But
killing
She
assholes.
targeted horrible people. Eileen Wuornos is in my top 3.
That's
Like,
why I think they should do one on her. She's almost like a Dexter.
A female Dexter, yeah.
they need Eileen Wuornos, Ted Bundy, and they need to do, I think, John Wayne Gacy, who was like the infamous clown killer where they found 30 bodies under his house and he claimed he didn't know how they got there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was. I thought that the famous clown killer was just in movies. I didn't realise it was an actual thing.
John Wayne Gacy, yeah. His profession was a clown. He didn't dress like a clown killing people, which some people get
And
confused.
he was on the town council as well. He was a politician.
Yeah,
Oh,
he had
yeah.
like 30-something bodies under his house.
Yeah. Well, the next
Yeah, Bundy would
the
be the
next
guy.
series, the next series is going to be about Lizzie Borden, who is from the 1860s, and she was an axe killer.
Yeah, but how many?
60s,
How many?
total bullshit, isn't it? Like,
Oh, there's no proof of it.
Yeah, but she only killed 2 people, didn't she? Like
Yeah,
her
mum and
brother and
dad.
dad. It's more like a crime of passion as opposed to serial killer or anything.
Yeah, but
for one
but
episode.
They're going to explore the
the
rest of
Lyle
the
and
stuff.
Menendez story is only his parents, and
That's what I was about to say. It could be like the
Yeah.
monster number 2.
But there's loads of episodes and evidence. There's no evidence from the 1860s.
But that's what's interesting. I think that's what's a clever thing, because I would never have chosen her either. I would have chosen John Wayne Gacy or something that's got loads.
Or do Jack the Ripper.
But wait, how much do you know about John Wayne Gacy? Tons. How much do you know about BTK Killer? Tons. How much do you know about Ted Bundy? Tons. That he needs to pick someone that's a bit more obscure.
Because there's
that's
facts, I
interesting.
guess.
So,
Unless they go full mental and she just kills 300 people with an axe.
well, I'm excited
Yeah.
about Lizzie Borden because it will go into it can go into mental illness. It can go
Yeah,
into
the psychology
Go
of
to so many different.
Yeah.
It's just pure guessing.
And
at
it's
this
a
point.
period
It's just
piece as
like-
well.
Yeah, but it could look at like what drives a woman to do that from that time. Like you were mental for saying no to your husband. You're put in
Men
an
not putting
asylum.
the
then,
toilet seat
like,
down, probably.
at what point do you get driven to axe murder 2 people? I wonder if there is like things, or if she's been institutionalized before. Because if someone had tried to institutionalize me for saying no to them, I'd probably fuck them up with an axe as well. Just saying.
Well,
No.
the interesting thing about Lizzie Borden is she was acquitted. She didn't get committed as a murderer. She got acquitted as being the prime suspect in her father and stepmother's
She's got an
murder.
OBE.
And I think the interesting part about this story is that it will be like how she got away with it and
I
how people didn't believe her. And
I would love to see her how to get away with, but you wouldn't be able to have anyone because they got away with it.
yeah. So there's lots of information on her.
Did she admit it then in the end?
Sorry.
Did she admit it in the end then?
On her
I
deathbed.
don't know. I don't want to read too much. I did read a bit the other day. I forgot all the information though, but there is interesting things because it's the psychology of getting away with murder to a degree as well. But yeah, I think it'll still be interesting.
There's a documentary for you. A serial killer who's on their deathbed. They've been given like 6 months to live, and they give out everything. They're like, yeah, I've killed like 700 people. Like, here's all the details. It's like,
Yeah,
you can't do
that's
anything,
the
so I'm going to
power.
die. But here's how I did it, and here's how I got away with it. That would be a documentary.
Well, they have the two things, don't they?
But like
They
the
like to-
Yorkshire Ripper, he held on to that power till past his grave, not saying where those last bodies were.
yeah, it's a
Like
power
that-
play, isn't it?
But yeah, and most things are about power.
But jumping back, that's like Blackbird, the TV series that we've mentioned a lot on this episode. Though
Yes.
Blackbird is
Perfect
so
show.
good about the idea of
What's it
infiltrating
on?
Apple.
a prison to find a psychopath.
It's insane.
in order to get the body.
Shed, you need to watch it. Blackbird
It's
is so good.
It's so good. It's so good, that show.
But
And
yeah.
you see Taron Egerton with his top off, so it's even better.
So we'll just let's wrap up. But yeah, just to confirm on like episode 8, like that's when it comes out as he helped find Ted Bundy and help profile him. That was false.
That's all bollocks as well.
Bullshit,
Yeah,
that
he
last
didn't do
whole
any of
thing.
that. I'm not even sure he even spoke to the FBI once, to be honest.
No,
I think
he didn't.
refused
But
it.
the only thing with that is, in again, like Sarah was saying, it makes you think he's a good guy. Though it plays into again, he's a hero. They
It's
try
weird,
to
isn't it?
make him
Again,
come
it's-
across
They're
as
trying to
some-
like.
Well, no, it's
do
not
that.
they. It's not they. It's him. He wants to portray himself as a good person, so he's doing something
But
good.
how's that come from his notes, though, Kev?
I don't know.
Or is
No. It's their
Like, this is
perception
the-
for how he felt. I think. Like I don't know what he felt. I think it's like we want from his perspective that he wants to feel good because he knows he's dying, so he wants to
We
get
did more to help catch
But he
Ted
also
Bundy
wants.
than he did.
He also still wants flattery for the killers he's done. So all the killers are writing saying you're
letters
the
to him.
Godfather.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. But it was
How did
entertaining.
Bundy get caught? Can I remember?
he was.
He got
it was
pulled over with a
random
broken
pullover,
tail light. A broken
Yeah.
tail light. No, he got pulled over with
Yeah.
a broken tail light, and he had all the crazy shit in his boot, like the bounding and stuff, like the gaffer tape, the ropes, and all
Yeah.
that lot. And they were like,
A kill.
and they
back.
took him in for question. I'm pretty sure that's how he got caught with
Yeah,
a broken
also,
tail
he
light.
didn't.
It's almost like Al Capone getting put in prison for tax.
There was a few women that survived as well and managed to ID him as well.
Mm.
And he escaped, jumped out of a first floor window, ran into the mountains, and then
Murdered
got
someone
caught.
again
He got caught a couple of weeks later.
after he murdered someone.
Yeah,
You think
It's
you'd chill
mad.
out, wouldn't you?
I think I want to read the Ted Bundy files, but I don't know if I want to know that much about him because he is
He's
just.
the goat.
it's on. It's
Yeah,
all on
he is the
Netflix.
goat.
They've got the tapes, the Ted Bundy tapes, which is all the recordings and discussions with him. It's really good.
Yeah. But when I used to do forensic psychology, our teacher, she used to work at Broadmoor, and she said there's blokes in there that had done notoriously bad stuff. The nurses had read the files, etc., and they were still flirting with them. Like, these people are charming. They like
Ted
they know
Bundy
what
had a
they're doing.
child when he was
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah,
But yeah, the one with Zac Efron is actually really good. It's set from when he was caught, but it's very, very good.
Yeah, he's very well done.
Zac Efron does really well in that.
He's a great actor.
Mm.
What's it like?
Did you say we're wrapping it up with the last episode?
Oh, we've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We've been on a bit longer than I expected as well. We need to wrap up, and but yeah, that was good. How many whales would you give the series? What would your rating of it be each?
3.5.
I'm going 5. I thought it was maybe 4.5.
I'm going 3.5 purely because of how disjointed and hard to like keep flowing it was.
I'm gonna go 4, just because the ending I just didn't. I don't know. I started to lose.
I also had to factor in how much bullshit it was.
Hang on, no, but the
That's
first
horrible.
6 episodes I was watching, I couldn't stop myself, and then
perfect.
gradually I was like, it felt like I'm going to watch it because we're going to talk about it. It wasn't like I wasn't inclined to carry on. I'd lost the momentum in the last 2.
I agree.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Sarah?
the last 2 were sort of almost unnecessary.
If we weren't talking about it today, I would have probably not.
But here's the
bothered watching
irony.
The rest of it.
If you look at it as an entertainment sort of thing that was solely just that, and it wasn't almost loosely based on true story, and then you're like, well, that's annoying because that didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. Yeah, really, really good. Apart from those last 2. But I think because it is it is obviously based on truth, and you can look some of it up in that kind of ruined it for me. I think if it had been solely on its own thing, on its own merit, made up entirely,
Agree.
yeah,
I thought
it would have been.
clever they put fake stuff in because it showed his mental breakdown progressively. I liked the fake parts. I thought it made sense in the story.
But I think the woman, the girlfriend, I think sidetracked it all a lot to almost be her.
Yeah,
I agree with
doing
what
it.
Sarah said. If this was if they left out the name Ed Gein and they called it something random, like just called it Monster. Say we didn't know what the program Monster was and just called it Monster as like a new thing. And they did this based on a guy that had maybe seen a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, seen all these old things and was influenced by them and did all this crazy shit. I've been like, this is crazy. But the fact they made up so much, it was a bit too far for me.
Well, here's the other
Go on, Drew.
Here's the other problem slightly, but sometimes it's just in casting people and going like, we want you to have your own episode and blah blah blah. If the girl is an imaginary, right, in his mind, why is there a whole episode on her? Because he wouldn't know what she's getting up to. So again,
yeah, exactly. She's got her own trajectory, hasn't she? And I think the fact that she's so much younger
that kills the
than him,
continuity
almost more.
of his mindset and of the story. because you've just given
But
a whole.
she doesn't appear socially awkward. Yes, she appears to want to find someone in crime, but little there is of her, it suggests she was quite socially awkward almost as well.
I think the
But
other two series of
did have
Monster
whole
followed a story that was relatively factual to a point, and they maybe did a bit of artistic license here and there, but followed it through. But where this one was bouncing onto different movies and like theories and all this sort of stuff, I think it was just too much. It was still good, and I think the last 3 episodes really pushed it for me as being really good. Charlie Hunnam's acting in the mental hospital was phenomenal. Probably the best acting he's ever done in his life.
I wish there was more on him being interrogated almost and what he did, rather than just the lie detector tests. I wish I know that it's probably poorly recorded, but there must be.
I feel that was quite quick, that scene.
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh no, he's telling the truth." It's like, wait, what?
I think I went to make a cup of tea, and I came back, and it was almost over.
And then he's instantly next scene in the mental hospital.
Well, that's what I think. I think a court case would have been more fascinating than going off with his dream and his fantasy land.
I think they would have had a better episode doing a court case than some bullshit Ted Bundy crime-solving crap.
That would have been cool, because then you've almost got like Presumed Innocent meets Ed Gein, and that would have been a really cool way to go down with the show.
They maybe missed the trick on that one. Leave the fantasy out and just do like a court scene and how he got to that point.
Yeah, it sounds like.
And he's admitting that he did kill those people, and like why and mother.
Because he did admit to killing 2 of them, which they don't show.
Well, it sounds like we all agree that we don't agree, so that's good. Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys. And if you want to watch back on the visuals, Sarah has about 8 different hairstyles during this program. So
sorry, I can't help it.
Go back and watch for that.
I just like to fiddle with my hairs.
We had long hair, we had pigtails, we had all sorts of stuff going on. So tune in for that.
I'll whip my hair back. I have a different hairstyle for each of my personalities, actually.
Of which
one's
definitely
the
there
serial
are
killer?
many.
So we know.
Yeah.
5 of them.
That laugh is the perfect ending. That's the laugh of a serial killer. Anyway, goodbye.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time.
Thank you all for your continued support, and please do check out our other fun episodes with many great and interesting guests. And just to let you know, we're also on YouTube if you want to also watch us. But do give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, and we'd love a cheeky 5-star rating on here if you had a moment. And if you do want to support us further, we do have merch. The links are here and on our socials. It's ragewhale.tmill.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.